And it came to pass at the end of 2 whole years that Pharaoh dreamed, and behold, he stood by the river. And behold, there came up out of the river 7 cows, beautiful of form and fat of flesh, and they fed among the reeds. And behold, 7 other cows came up after them out of the river, evil in appearance and lean of flesh, and they stood by the other cows upon the river bank. And the evil-appearing and lean-fleshed cows ate up the 7 beautifully formed and fat cows. So Pharaoh awoke. And he slept and dreamed the second time, and behold, 7 ears of grain came up on one stalk, fat and good. And behold, 7 thin ears sprang up after them, and were blasted with the east wind. And the 7 thin ears devoured the 7 fat and full ears. And Pharaoh awoke, and behold, it was a dream. And it came to pass in the morning that his spirit was troubled, and he sent and called for all the magicians of Egypt and all the wise men. And Pharaoh told them his dream, but there was none who could interpret them to Pharaoh.
Then the chief cupbearer spoke to Pharaoh, saying, I remember my sin this day. Pharaoh was angry with his servants, and put me under guard in the chief of the executioner's house, me and the chief baker. And we dreamed a dream one night, he and I. We dreamed each man according to the interpretation of his dream. And there was there with us a young man, a Hebrew, a slave to the chief of the executioners. And we told him, and he interpreted our dreams for us. He interpreted to each man according to his dream. And it came to pass as he interpreted to us, so it was. He restored me to my office, and he hanged him.
And Pharaoh sent and called for Joseph, and they hurried him out of the dungeon. And he shaved and changed his clothing and came in to Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said to Joseph, I have dreamed a dream, and none can interpret it. And I have heard it said about you that you can understand a dream to interpret it. And Joseph answered Pharaoh, saying, Not I, but God shall give an answer favorable to Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said to Joseph, In my dream, behold, I stood upon the bank of the river. And behold, there came up out of the river 7 cows, beautiful in appearance and fat of flesh, and they fed among the reeds. And behold, 7 other cows came up after them, poor and evil of appearance and lean of flesh, such as I never saw in all the land of Egypt for badness. And the lean and the evil-appearing cows ate up the first 7 fat cows. And when they had eaten them up, no one could tell that they had eaten them, for they were still evil of appearance as at the beginning. And I awoke. Also I saw in my dream, and behold, 7 ears came up in one stalk, full and good. And behold, after them 7 ears, withered, thin, blasted by the east wind, sprang up after them. And the thin ears devoured the 7 good ears. And I spoke to the magicians, but there was none that could explain it to me. And Joseph said to Pharaoh, The dreams of Pharaoh are one and the same. God has shown Pharaoh what he is about to do. The 7 good cows are 7 years, and the 7 good ears are 7 years. The dreams are one. And the 7 thin and evil-appearing cows that came up after them are 7 years. And the 7 empty ears blasted with the east wind shall be 7 years of famine. This is the thing which God has spoken to Pharaoh, for what God is about to do he has shown to Pharaoh. Behold, there are coming 7 years of great plenty throughout all the land of Egypt. Then there shall arise after them 7 years of famine, and all the plenty shall be forgotten in the land of Egypt, and the famine shall consume the land. And the plenty shall not be known in the land because of the famine following, for it shall be very grievous. And since the dream was repeated to Pharaoh and given twice, it is because the matter is established by God, and God will shortly bring it to pass. Now therefore, let Pharaoh look for a man who is discreet and wise, and set him over the land of Egypt. Let Pharaoh act, and let him appoint officers over the land, and take up the 5th part of the produce of the land of Egypt in the 7 plenteous years. And let them gather all the food of those good years that come, and lay up grain under the hand of Pharaoh, and let them keep food in the cities. That food shall be for a store to the land against the 7 years of famine, which shall be in the land of Egypt, so that the land does not perish through the famine.
And the thing was good in the eyes of Pharaoh, and in the eyes of all his servants. And Pharaoh said to his servants, "Can we find any man like this, in whom the Spirit of God is?" And Pharaoh said to Joseph, "Since God has shown you all this, no one is as discreet and wise as you. You shall over my house, and all my people shall obey your word. Only in the throne will I be greater than you." And Pharaoh said to Joseph, "See, I have set you over all the land of Egypt." And Pharaoh took off his ring from his hand and put it upon Joseph's hand. And he dressed him with fine linen robes and put a gold chain around his neck. And he made him to ride in the 2nd chariot which he had. And they proclaimed before him, "Bow the knee." And he made him ruler over all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh said to Joseph, "I am Pharaoh, and without a word from you, no man shall lift up his hand or foot in all the land of Egypt." And Pharaoh called Joseph's name Zaphnath-Paaneah, and he gave him Asenath, the daughter of Potiphera, priest of On, for his wife. And Joseph went out over the land of Egypt. And Joseph was 30 years old when he stood before Pharaoh, king of Egypt. And Joseph went out from before Pharaoh, and went throughout all the land of Egypt. And in the 7 years of plenty the earth brought forth abundantly. And he gathered up all the food of the 7 years that was in the land of Egypt, and he put food in the cities. He put the food of the field which was around every city, he put it in the midst of each city. And Joseph gathered grain like the sand of the sea, very much, until he quit numbering it, for it was without number. And 2 sons were born to Joseph before the years of famine came, whom Asenath, the daughter of Potiphera, priest of On, bore to him. And Joseph called the name of the firstborn Manasseh, saying, "For God has made me forget all my toil and all my father's house." And the name of the second he called Ephraim, saying, "For God has caused me to be fruitful in the land of my affliction." And the 7 years of plenty that was in the land of Egypt ended. And the 7 years of famine began to come, according as Joseph had said. And the famine was in all lands, but in all the land of Egypt there was bread. And when all the land of Egypt was famished, the people cried to Pharaoh for bread. And Pharaoh said to all the Egyptians, "Go to Joseph, what he says to you, do." And the famine was over all the face of the earth. And Joseph opened all the storehouses and sold to the Egyptians. And the famine was severe on the land of Egypt. And all lands came into Egypt to Joseph to buy grain, because the famine was severe in all lands.